And he goes, "Do you realize the only reason that we got out of there?" He goes, "They handcuffed us. We were going to jail. We were never leaving. My car was being impounded. We were going to be in a Mexican jail for the rest of our lives. They were never leaving."
Do you ever wonder what a Gen X thinks? Welcome to Gen X Slices.
All right, I'll give you a. Somebody said mechanic story. I didn't see who it was, and uh, boy, I got in trouble in Mexico one time. Uh, all right, this is kind of a dickish story. Uh, Easy Money. Thanks for the check, man. We forgot the video check, Easy Money. Um, I was in Mexico one time, and I was with a couple buddies. We had two cars down there, and we always end up on the beach. Every time we fuck around down there, we always end up on the beach, and we always light a fire, and there's always girls down there, and somebody brings a radio till it runs out of batteries. And this particular time, this was my fault. A lot of the stories in Mexico don't involve me directly because I didn't do it. It wasn't me. This one, gotta say I was 17. Um, Maybe it was May, so 17 and a half or so. I don't know. We were down there. We were down there for a couple of days because you could take a bunch of money down there. You could take $200 or $300 down there back in the 80s, and you were living like a king. Anything you wanted was easy, and you had enough money to get yourself out of trouble if you got in trouble with the authorities. So we were fucking around, not on Constitution Circle. No, 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 no. We'd been there a bunch, but not that night. We were just off. This is in Tijuana, and I don't know. We ended up. I had a half bottle of Jack. We ended up on the beach, campfire going. And I think there was four of us down there. We ended up with six girls. I don't even know how we ended up with six girls, and this one girl in particular, she wasn't she wasn't real eager to play. She was there, she was having fun, she was laughing, but anytime anybody made a move on her, she was like, "No, no, 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 no." All right. So they backed off and went on with their night. That became a challenge for me. So, I got to tell you, I laid it on heavy. I remember this because this was a lot of work. And I was like, well, I see my friends over here. They're making a run at you. It was a call back in the day. Make a run. They're making a run at you. And just you got to give them a. They're a bunch of horny teenagers, and then just like that. And she looks at me. She says, "Oh, and you're not." I said, "No, I'm very composed. I'm very composed." I said, "I'm down to earth." So, I said, "Everybody comes down here to get laid. Everybody comes down here to have a good time." I said, I remember telling her, "I come down here for the cultural experience." You guys being loud for a reason? I said, "I come down here for the cultural experience. I come down here to enjoy myself and partake." So, at that moment, I was trying to win this girl over and telling her that I was not here to get laid. I was here to have a good time and enjoy the entire southern experience from south of the border. Somehow or another, she bought that. And so we sat for a long time, and she didn't want tequila, and the other guys were smoking dope, and she didn't want none of that neither. And I just sat there very carefully cultivating my Jack Daniels as the fire was going on and the music was playing. And I was 2 hours into this night. Well, not 2 hours into it, 2 hours into the fire on the beach, and I was getting nowhere. I mean, nowhere. So I said, you're allowed to loosen up a little bit. And she says, "Well, I probably shouldn't." I said, "You're allowed to drink a couple shots and then leave it at that. Just so you get a little bit loose, because you seem tense. You seem a little bit like you're not really relaxing. We're having a good time here. We're all hanging out. We're playing football. We're throwing a frisbee. It's dark time like that. We got a fire on the beach." She says, "Well, maybe I'll have a little bit." So, all right, we'll just have a little bit. So I think maybe she had three shots, maybe three, but she didn't weigh but a buck 05, sopping wet. All right. So somewhere in the course of events, the 3 shots got her moving. Yes, admittedly, I poured 3 respectable shots. I did, which means they were overflowing, and she had to lick her fingers when she was done because it would poured it all over her hand. All right, and she was getting a little friendly. All right, without getting into all of the sordid details, within about the next 90 minutes, all of us were right around the campfire, and everybody was having an exceedingly good time. There was a pile of clothes in the corner that belonged to all of us, and everybody was in the moment. I will drink right now to all of us being in that moment because it was great. At which point, sometime, everybody got dressed, still hanging out, no pressure, everybody's having a good time. Everybody was smiling, including her. And then she says, you know, I think I got to get a ride home. Could you give me a ride home? Said, yeah. So I'm not sure what possessed me to use my buddy's car, but I did. And he had a yellow 74 Super Beetle, if I remember right. So low to the ground, you had to step down to get in it. That's how it felt. And I don't remember if his car, I don't remember why I did that, but I remember so I did. And I was driving her home. This was now like 3 a.m. And she mentions to me, for some dumb, ungodly reason, she mentions 2 things. She says, 1, I'm late. I'm way past my curfew. Okay. I mean, we were both underage, so. And the second thing she mentions, she goes, my dad is the deputy chief of police of Tijuana. And I remember my heart fucking sank. Then it came up into my throat. And I'm driving her to her house. Now I knew I was fucked. I was fucked 3 ways from Sundays, and there was no way out. I didn't know this in the beginning, but I knew what it meant. So I started asking all the questions. Well, is your dad up? Is your mom up? You should drop you off a block away from your house. And she's like, no, I'm sure it'll be fine. It'll probably be okay. I said, look, have you ever been out past your curfew? No. Have you ever been driven home by some gringo? No. I said, is your dad a tolerant man? She goes, no, he gets very angry. Motherfucker. So I insist on dropping her off a few blocks from her house, which she finally agrees to. Now there's a risk there. There's a risk, because if you drop her off away and her dad catches you and goes, why the fuck did you leave my daughter on the side of the road? No, I didn't. It was just a couple blocks. But if you drive right up to the house, you're fucked. He's probably got cars out there waiting. So I dropped her off a couple blocks away. Just a couple blocks, and there you go. And I mean, I raced that little VW. I screamed that little air-cooled engine as fast as it would go all the way back. Ran out onto the beach and told everyone, we got to get the fuck out of here. We got to go home now. We got to go across the border now. You can't fuck around now. We got to go now. No one was moving in high gear. Everybody's like, whoa, I'm sitting here enjoying the fire. I said, okay, I'm getting in my car and I'm fucking leaving. So unless all of you can fit in that VW and you want to, I'm going. So I took off. And I mean, I took off in a way that you don't even understand. I lit out of that place in my car as fast as I could fucking go. And as soon as I did, everybody realized there was a problem. They jumped in the VW and they got in the shit. There's one guy with me and 2 guys in the VW, and we started going towards the border. We all knew the way home. By the time we got to the border, I have never seen a border as locked down, checking people as there was when we got there. It's like, what the fuck is going? Normally, you go by and it's nothing more than what are you doing? What are you doing? Going home, American thing. No, they were pulling people over, checking IDs, and my buddy got in the lane next to me. We were pretty close to being at the same up there, and I get up there, and they flat out asked me, said, "Do you know anybody driving the vehicle?" And I said, "No." "Have you ever seen this girl in the picture?" I said, "No, never seen anything like that. What are you talking about?" And it was her. Oh, it was her. So, what are you talking about? I said, "Well, have you seen anything tonight?" And no, 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 no. No drugs, no alcohol. I'm just a tourist, man. I'm just a tourist. I bought a bunch of touristy stuff. I spent money here. I'm just going home. They're like, all right, you got to go. As I pulled away, my buddy had got up in the lane next to me in the wrong car. They knew the car. They knew the thing. They fucking pulled him out. They ripped the door panels off. They took the doors and seats off the car. They handcuffed him butt fucking half-ass naked on the ground. They were doing the full meal deal to my buddy because I had drove her home in that car. She had described me and that car to a T. And they pulled him over. I could see him in my rearview mirror. I'm like, fuck, I'm heading across the border. He's fucked and he doesn't know why. He's like, what the fuck is going on? He didn't do anything. Well, I waited. I went very far across the border from Tijuana. And I waited for probably 3.5 or 4 hours. I waited. Finally, he comes putting across, and my buddy gets out. He sees me there because it's a place we normally stop at. He gets out and walks up, and I'm like, hey, what? And he fucking hits me. He punched me so hard, this tooth back here dislodged. I already got it put back in. And he said, what the fuck did you do? I said, me? What did I? He goes, don't give me that. Don't fucking give me that. Called me by my last name like 4 times. He goes, what happened? I said, I just drove the girl home, and her dad was a deputy chief of police. And he goes, do you realize the only reason that we got out of there? He goes, they handcuffed us. We were going to jail. We were never leaving. My car was being impounded. We were going to be in a Mexican jail for the rest of our lives. They were never leaving. I said, how'd you get out of that? Because if the girl came clean, which apparently she did, and said, well, this American guy, he came down and he gave me alcohol, and we were in a fire on the beach, and, well, Dad, he fucked me 3 ways from Sunday, and then he drove me home, which apparently is what she said. But they grabbed him because of the car. The only thing that saved him was that the deputy chief of police drove the girl down there and said, is it one of these 2 guys? And she said, no, this is the right car, but it's not those guys. And even then, he wasn't going to let him go. Even then, he was like, where's your friend? We're not letting you go till you get your friend back here. Now, they knew me, like, he's never coming back. He was already across. They told him, he's across the border. If you're looking for this guy, he's across the border. He's never coming back. You're not going to, can we please go home? Eventually, they let them go hours later. And that's how we went home. That was one of the stories, just because I took my buddy's car. I didn't even know why I did it that time, but I took his car and they went after the car, and I was in my car. I was a little bit ahead of him, just one car. If we'd have been up there at the same time, my buddy would have said, "It's that motherfucker right there." But we were one car ahead in a different lane, and that's it. That's how it went. So there's your story. There's a story I promised I would never fucking tell anybody. And I'm hoping my wife never hears that story. But fuck it. Now you know one of my Mexico stories where I almost had my ass handed to me, but being a horny kid, don't think it wasn't more than a month, and I went right back again. Yes, I did. Look, man, the things you do in the 80s, fuck it. I was there. There we go. All All right.